Good afternoon. Today I will be discussing a humanistic approach towards the future of artificial intelligence. As with many other things, and especially AI, the future is relatively unknown. Researchers and theorists have attempted to predict what may happen, but that is not to say what will happen. There are endless possibilities, but one fact remains set in stone. AI is inevitable. As futurist Gray Scott once said, the real question is, when will we draft an artificial intelligence Bill of Rights? So, to begin, I want to offer an example of a humanistic approach set forth by the U.S. government. Specifically, the Office of Science and Technology Policy in 2016 released a paper titled Preparing for the Future of AI, which emphasized a free market integration of AI focused on public good. This is a humanistic approach intertwined with capitalism, which becomes important later for funding. This approach essentially allows the private sector to explore AI while the government regulates it, under the assumption, of course, that free markets benefit society. Overall, this approach is feasible and well researched, but it does have certain drawbacks. According to the judgment of a panel of researchers focused on AI, including Catherine Kahn, the report was void of the specific values that should steer and shape the development of our AI-powered societies, which does not mean the report is wrong. It's just important to recognize its strengths and weaknesses. Moving on to enforcement, this is where the government comes in. The government would be the regulator, setting policies about AI and enforcing those said policies. Similar to how the government currently acts with the economy, where it regulates it to an extent, but largely stays away. And that the free market is where the funding comes in. The free market plays the role of the innovator, um, boosting the economy and therefore covering any of the costs associated with the rise of AI. Imagine a never-ending top where all that's required is the first spin to get the top moving, and then it will perpetuate itself. As with any approach, there are going to be certain advantages and disadvantages. A quote from a paper in the Harvard Business Review titled "The Business of AI," one of the biggest advantages will be the economy. They argue in that paper that independent businesses and corporations will benefit the most from the economy boost as a result of AI. As well, the government will initially face challenges, but ultimately be better able to serve the people through, for example, better data analysis, as well quality of life improvements for everyday and citizens will become that much more powerful and useful. For example, voice assistants like Siri and Alexa will become even more powerful than they currently are. However, there are disadvantages. From the Journal of Labor Policy, Ernst et al. Found that the biggest concern is also tied to the economy, except in the face of unemployment, meaning that with the rise of AI, low-income families and low-income workers will be affected most by job loss and robots essentially replacing the jobs of humans. Other disadvantages include individuals losing their identity under increased surveillance and privacy regulations, and as well the potential for over-regulation, as is the case when any sort of government body is involved. Um, Now, this isn't the only approach towards the future of AI, but with this approach, we as a society gain greater security and peace of mind in the unknown future that AI holds. However, we do sacrifice certain research and innovation potential. As well, a team of researchers from Taiwan noted that AI led to an increase in mistrust of the government and corporations and how they might handle the rise of AI, which is the case again whenever government is included. So, imagine a humanistic approach towards AI as the race between the tortoise and the hare, where the tortoise is slow and steady, consistent, and the hare is fast and quick and sporadic. And while neither knows what may happen at the end, slow and steady wins the race. Thank you.